Welcome to the Godness Podcast, where we discuss conscious and uplifting topics to help us all along our spiritual journey. My name is Brianna.
Hey, it's the girl Najee.
And today we are actually going to be discussing how to unlock the God within. And I'm especially excited about this topic because this is really where it all stemmed from. This is how Godness community was birthed, right? A really instrumental part in how that all came together and how this podcast, the Godness Podcast, came into fruition. So let's dive into it. I'm really excited.
Dive deep. Yeah.
Okay.
So, with understanding the God within, right? I think you first have to even define what is God. What
Yes.
is the elusive God? And of course, that, varies for everyone. And here at God in this community, we put a very big emphasis on respecting everyone's individual journey, right? That's the like mindedness that we have, is that we believe and we respect and honor everyone's.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
know for me, God represents everything. I creation to me is the demonstration of God, right? So that is what I believe. And I am that demonstration as well, that divine demonstration. You are, that is my belief. Everything that I see is a visual manifestation and representation of what God is.
Yes. So yeah, as Najee was saying, right? Like the definition of God, defining God can really vary from person to person, depending on where you are, where you go, right? Um, and that's a beautiful thing. I really agree with God being everything. Um, and more personable for me, it's like God is me and I am God. Like I feel like we're all a manifestation of God, a piece of God, right? This whole concept of oneness, which a lot of us have, probably heard of, right? That there's this one consciousness. So when I think about God, I really think about like this big birth. And in this big birth, this big explosion, right, came you and came me as a piece of this big whole. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, and so to me, that's really what God is. And even deeper than that, it's really like that inner knowing, that inner self, that when you're in the meditative state and you connect with such a level of just peace and you feel super, super grounded
Mhm.
and more connected than ever before. Just that feel. Okay. But yeah, I used to look at God as more of like a dominant figure or father figure or almost like a king figure. But yeah, that has changed. And now I just see God more as um, me and me as God. And
Mhm.
that the deepest kind of love, the deepest kind of peace, that to me is God. So
Yeah.
yes.
I think because, my idea of God is a representation, like everything that we see is a physical representation of what God is. I can't see God as a person
Mm,
or a thing. I think it's just one of those ideas that our human consciousness is not supposed to be able to understand. There's a lot of things about this lifetime that we just won't. You're right. Like we don't understand the concept of death in its entirety. We don't understand the concept of the universe in its entirety. And I think that God is just one of those things, because it's just too grand. Um,
mm,
but and with that being said, it's too grand to put into a physical um, holding, right? So
mm.
um, that, yeah, I can't see it as a person, place, or thing.
Yeah, I agree. I
Hmm.
agree. Um, So, where do you feel like your biggest moment or like a pivotal moment happened for you on your spiritual journey where you felt like you were able to tap into this power or this God for you, specifically how you defined it, right?
Mhm.
Where do you feel like was a pivotal moment where you were able to kind of like tap into that or just kind of like start journeying on that into
Yeah.
that?
So, um, my background, I grew up in a Christian household, right? And
Mhm.
so I always had concept of faith and of belief, uh, a power greater than I am, and I'm grateful for that background. I am,
Yeah.
but I think what was it for me on my individual journey was I really started to question like what my like purpose was. That took me down a rabbit hole. I was feeling like I was disconnected from life. I just felt like I was living like a shell of a person. I'm here, I'm doing the things, but feel I don't know why. And that big why um, was what really got me to start meditation. Um, and feeling like I really wanted to feel like I had a connection, like a real like solid connection to a source that would give me that purpose or those that would answer those questions that I have within myself.
Mm.
And everyone used to tell me to meditate. I'm a very, first of all, I'm a very curious person by nature. So I think the idea of meditation intrigued me because it's exploring your mind in a way.
Mm.
And I
Mhm.
want to see what's up, what's going on in my consciousness. But, when I was going through that, that journey of trying to figure out like what my purpose is, why I'm here, who am I, and all of the self help books and texts that I would come across would always go to meditation. And so I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. And through meditation, I started feeling like, huh, like I don't know, maybe we're onto something, right? Because when you really sit down and listen, or not really listen, but like observe your thoughts, it's
Mm.
like, oh, this
Yeah.
is this is who I am, and this is what I want to think about, or like let's explore that more,
Mhm.
and so yeah, and that so I think that why spurred me down, and connecting to God. So that has been my
Mm.
journey. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. How
So,
do you think you connect? How is your connection
mm,
process?
okay. So I feel like, okay, so let me go back. Back in summer of 2022, which wasn't that long ago, like last year, um, I was having like this moment of also feeling a bit of disconnect and a bit of just kind of like confusion as to why I'm feeling so disconnected because I kind of felt like I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing.
Mm,
Like yourself, I was, which you already know this, so it's just news to everyone else. But right, grew up Christian background, and I just feel like I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing. So why do I still feel
mhm,
like this way? And it was like I would pray and feel a little bit better, but something in my spirit was just like more,
there's
like
more.
there's more, there's more, there's more. Like you can feel a even greater level, of peace. You can have even a greater level of understanding, like you're capable of doing that. And at this time in my life too, I was going through just different transitions and things. And I kind of just was like, okay, let me just stop for a moment, you know, because within life, for all of us, most of us, I'm sure, right, things get really busy and we are just kind of in this cycle of just doing.
Mhm,
And so I had to stop doing and just like sit with myself and really analyze who I am analyze where I am and what are the things that I feel like are, working for me and the things that I felt like, were not working for me. Um, and there was a few things in my life that I wanted to really address, which was kind of like this whole busyness I just mentioned, right? Feeling like my mind was so busy. There were so many thoughts happening. And I really wanted to get a little bit more organized about that. And I really wanted to understand myself more as to like, why is all this even really like occurring in the first place? And so I really just wanted to gain a more control over my thoughts and, gain a greater sense of peace. Like I said, I would have peace from praying, but it was just like, there's more. You could go further, Brianna. You could go further. And so I needed to explore that. And so once I started having that thought process of like, okay, I need to explore that more, I saw um, I saw a video, and in the video they mentioned this book called Mind Control by Jose Silva. And in this book, he teaches the Jose Silva method, which is a kind of like it's a whole entire theory, but specifically in the book, he teaches dynamic meditation. Now, let me tell y'all, when I first started reading this book, I was a little bit scared because he was talking, the book itself is called Mind Control. And like I said, I'm from a Christian background and, we'll get into that in another episode. But um, this whole thought process of like controlling your thoughts, having the power to do this type of thing, meditating, really going to a deeper level. Dynamic meditation really teaches about visualization. It teaches about creating, and it teaches about stillness. Many different things that I just didn't fully understand and hadn't really had any experience in doing. So I was a little bit like, I need to do this, but I was also kind of on edge about it at the same time. But I knew that God sent it to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew that I put this thought out there and that I was asking for this, and this was the answer. And so even though I was scared of the answer because it came in a box that I didn't recognize, something that I had never, experienced, right? But my faith in God and just knowing in my spirit that this is what I was supposed to be doing and this is what I was led to, I continued on with it. So that got me into practicing the dynamic meditation, which, like I said, it's, a series of being still, visualizing, and all sorts of things. But I really used it to go to a deeper level of consciousness and have conversations with God. And I feel like that is where I was really able to tap the surface, really understanding how we work as human beings and learning how to get down to a deeper level of consciousness, and communicate with God, with source, and with self, because I really feel like it's all really the same. So that's where I was really able to just go to that next level and start the whole process of truly, truly unlocking God within myself, at that time. So, yeah.
And when we talk about meditation, so I don't define meditation as one thing either. I it's not like the practice looks different for everyone. If you're coming from Christian background, you pray. Like when you pray, that's meditation, right? Because you're focusing your mind.
Yeah.
So I do like because just like Brianna, that's why we friends. My mind gets busy, and I need to quiet it, and I like to observe why I'm thinking the way that I am. So I like the traditional sense of sitting still in my little closet. It's dark in there,
Yes.
and I'm just still. Like I'm not listening. I don't even do it guided. Like I just need quiet. I need quiet. I need a moment to just not think. But I've also, used music in my meditations, physicality, like movement. That's another good one. I like to put on some nice, flowing music like that, gives my body and my mind what I need in that moment. I also meditate in the shower, and I'll meditate like on each body parts, like on things that I'm thankful for. You know, while I'm
Mhm.
like, yes, I'm thankful for my curves. Check me
Yeah.
but no, you know, so it looks different. Like people chant um, when they meditate, you know, and I know our ancestors, they didn't meditate quietly. I don't think so. They used sounds and chanting and things like that. So, you know, I know when people think about meditation, they automatically refer to, you know, that like sitting down and like with your fingers like touching and your legs crossed, and that's not necessarily what it has to be. You know, I think give your give yourself what you feel like you need. If you need, you know, music or stillness, then honor what your needs are during meditation.
Yes, I agree. There are so
Mhm.
many different ways, and it's really not about like the process itself. You figure out, you try different, forms of meditation out and figure out which one of them works for you and how do you know that it's working for you? It's the meditative state of mind. It is a deeper level of mind and consciousness, okay? And in that process or in that being of being at a meditative state, a deeper state of consciousness, right? You are simply more aware, more at peace, more connected. And it's really a practice. Like I said, there's so many different ways to do it, but I just feel like it's one of those things where like everyone can do it, should do it, and would benefit from it, you know?
Mhm.
And if you can, practice this, I think it can really, wherever you are, like it can really transform your life. When I
Mhm.
say it literally transformed, like changed my life completely, completely. Um, that's what it did for me. And I found the type of meditation practice that works for me. But even in that, sometimes I do a different meditation, right? Because that just might be what I'm in the mood for. Maybe I just want to dance, right? And be at a deeper level of consciousness, right? And just kind of like move, right? That's also a form of meditation. So it really depends, but I do think that in unlocking the God within, really going to a deeper state, right? And sitting with yourself, being self-aware, right? Um, at that state will really help you tap into God, because God is everything and everywhere, and God is within you, right? So
Mhm.
the way your spirit resonates, or the way your spirit is being, basically, right, is very, very, very specific to you. And I think it's important to realize that when I was actually going through this whole process of unlocking the God within, and I was reading Mind Control, and just my mind started opening up little by little by little. I really was like, okay, God, I mean, I get it, right? We're clearly on this spiritual journey. There's clearly more to this that I didn't know. But like, do you not have just a simple manual for me? Like, do I not just have like a simple, like, I don't know, 7-step
Mhm.
something that I can just, really utilize to connect with you, to pray to you, to have conversations with you? Like, is there something, more simple than like going into my mind and unlocking all these new levels of consciousness, like all of this, like, and I had this epiphany, right, in this process of asking. Because here's one thing, like when you start asking God questions, okay, when you really start asking questions that
Mhm.
are on your heart and on your spirit will start giving you answers.
Mhm.
And the answer that I got, just to basically sum it up, to make it a little short here, is that in order to get the answers that we want, to connect with God truly, we have to go within,
Mhm.
because all the answers that we seek are already within us. Like, it was basically like everything that you could ever want, everything that you could ever desire, everything that you could ever know, it's already within you. You don't have to go externally. Because I wanted this external book. I just wanted him to drop a book from the sky
Mhm.
and give it to me so that I can say, okay, God, I got it, And that's pretty much how I was taught too, right? So
Mhm.
this was a completely different shift, like a completely different way. And it was very, very, I didn't expect that to be the answer. But after I got the answer, though, that was also very empowering because it
Mhm.
was just like, we have all the answers. You know what I mean? Like, God lives, like, not just God is in me, but like, God is me
Mhm. Mhm.
and I am God. Like, that was an entirely different concept for me. But that is true for me personally. Um, and
I
so,
love
yeah,
that.
so yeah.
Yeah, I love that because it does empower you. A lot of us, I know, we don't trust ourselves. In many
Mm,
ways, we don't trust ourselves to make our own decisions. So, we with life, right? We have to go through so many other people before we can say, okay, I'm gonna stick with
mm,
this idea or decision, which essentially I think we all already know what we want to do, what we want out of this life or whatever, but we're just looking for that validation from someone else.
mm.
And
Yes.
um, I think that is such a yeah, such an empowering place to be because it's like I no I can make good decisions, and I so one of my mottos is um I my mantra is I am doing the best that I can with what I know now. In this very moment, that is what I know. I can't beat myself up for what I didn't know, back then. Like, yeah, if I got with this guy and he wasn't good for me, I didn't know that then. Like, how
Yeah.
am I supposed to know? He presented himself as
Hmm.
charming, right? And obviously, in hindsight, like when you go through the process, right, you're like, oh, this person wasn't good. But I'm not gonna beat myself up for making the decisions that I did, right? And
Hmm.
I don't have to go through every single person to say like, hey, I mean, yes, like getting counsel is wise, but I think
Yes. Hmm.
what happens is for a lot of people is that we paralyze ourselves with decision making because we are going through so many different people and not really listening and honoring ourselves and our decisions and experiencing life. Like you can't go through life without mistakes, right? Like it's
Hmm.
that's not what life looks like. It's not perfect. Mistakes are part of the process and the beauty of life. So, just hearing you just say like, yeah, it's reaffirming that this is supposed to empower you to trust yourself. Right. So
Yeah. And what you were talking about, touching on that constant state of needing like validation, of course, yes, getting counsel, seeking wisdom from those who have experience, and that's where you should be really getting counsel from, right? People who have experienced whatever it is that you're trying to, achieve and obtain, right? But the constant state of validation really comes from um, us having self-limiting like beliefs, you
yes,
know. So
absolutely.
when you have this idea, this inspiration or whatever, and you're super excited about it, you're like on this just internal high over it, right? Then you have, well, this happened to me when I was 4, right? And so and so said this to me in high school, right? Or last time I
Mhm.
tried this, it failed. So then you have all of these other things, coming in, right? So yeah, it is wise to seek counsel, but none of us, like, we never want to get stuck in a constant state of validation. And in the process of really unlocking the God within, you want to address those self-limiting beliefs, because as you start to reach new levels of consciousness, as you start to become more and more alignment,
Mhm.
or as you
Mhm.
enlightened, I meant to say, but as you do these things, right, you're going to get reminders of different things that have happened, right? The past and all sorts of things are going to come up. And it might be a little bit scary. Like I said, when I started reading Mind Control, I knew I needed it, but I also was a little bit afraid of it.
Mhm.
But in that, right, that self-limiting belief, in that fear, I decided, you know what? This is a gift, right? This is for you, it can be like, this is an idea, this is an inspiration, this is whoever, this person, whatever. This is what I need, or this is what my spirit is calling me to do. And so even when you are afraid, you have to take that head on and really address those self-limiting beliefs and move
Mm.
past that fear. And one way, like when Najee was talking about her mantra, right? That's really, really powerful. Mantras, giving yourself affirmation on a day to day basis, right? Reminding yourself of who you are, right? Of who you are and how powerful you really, really and truly are will help you in combating and truly,
Exactly.
truly overcoming any self-limiting beliefs and fears that you may have arise as you are on your spiritual journey. Doesn't mean these things will, never come up again, right? It just means that you have an arsenal full of tools, right? Affirmations, mantras, modalities, things that you can utilize to take those things head on.
Do
Okay.
you have a
Because
favorite
those
mantra?
things, huh?
Do you have a favorite mantra?
A favorite. I have a lot. I have a lot. I share a lot of them on like the Godness Instagram page, like at Godness Community on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I share a lot of them like in the captions and music that I make because that's really where I'm speaking from. I would say one of the ones that helped me, and it's so simple, it comes from the Mind Control book, actually. It's every day in every way,
Mm-hmm.
I am getting better, better, and better. Um,
Yes.
I love that because it covers every area. Like every day in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. That is Brianna in her spiritual journey. That is Brianna as a wife, Brianna as a mother, Brianna as a friend, Brianna as a business owner. It covers everything. And it just keeps me inspired knowing that like each and every day I get to make a choice to do better, be
Mm-hmm.
better. And yeah, it just inspires me. So that's that's
And giving
that's a
yourself
daily for
grace.
me.
Like you're getting
Huh?
better and giving yourself grace. Yeah, you're getting better.
Hmm.
You're doing better. Tomorrow you're getting better. So yeah,
Exactly.
yes. I
Exactly.
love that. So with self-awareness, right? You
Mhm.
know, I think one of the one of the good things about even just exploring who you are through this process is understanding who you are in your present moment, because
Mhm.
when you understand yourself, you are able to connect properly, I think, through to your community, to everything around you, right? If you don't know who you are, like doing life is pretty hard because you're kind of either following someone else and
Mhm.
their ideas of what you think you should be, which always feels inauthentic. And you can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
Um, but going and it's not a like a 1 2 step, and it's not a, oh, you wake up one day and it's like, I know who I am. But I think it's a very important step into, just unlocking this God within yourself, understanding who am I in this present moment, and how do you find that, right? So,
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned about the kind of epiphany moment I had in the summer of 2022 when I was just like, yeah, no, something's got to give here, right?
mm,
And when you have that moment, it's like you just have to sit down with yourself and start asking yourself questions about, okay, again, like you mentioned, where am I in this present moment, right? What am I like, what's going on with me, like what's making me happy, what's making me sad, like where are these things coming from, like is this from the past, is this from something that happened, or is this because of a fear that I have, coming to pass in the future. Like when you really start to sit with yourself, I think that off rip it kind of may seem overwhelming, but when you really sit down with yourself and start
mhm,
doing the work to like ask yourself questions, it'll become easier. Because at first you're probably like, well, what questions am I going to ask myself? Like, how am I actually going to do this? I think the most important part is just making a decision that I'm going to be more self aware and I am going to sit down with myself and I'm going to ask myself a question. I'm going to have a conversation with myself, with God, with spirit, and I'm going to be present and just go through that process because I really feel like it's one of those things where it's going to look different for everyone, as far as like
mhm,
the specific questions that you might, ask yourself and the specific answers that you might get back from
mhm.
yourself, spirit, God. And so I just think it's really just about really just standing still, sitting still, and making a decision that I'm going to be more aware and I'm going to stop and ask myself in this present moment, who am I? What am
Mhm.
I doing?
Yeah,
So,
and those questions you gotta dig deep, honey. It can't be surface
mhm,
level. It you gotta really do some, what's called shadow work too. Um,
mhm,
like really healing and go like digging deep within, like, why do I believe certain negative thoughts, right? Or some of these negative beliefs. And that work is often uncomfortable, you know.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it, I think one thing that's like uplifting about it is like you're really not doing it, by yourself. You probably can't in your natural state of consciousness, you probably can't remember every single thing, right, that has happened or why it happened and all of that. But when you
Mhm.
start asking yourself questions, your spirit will start, providing answers to you. And you don't have to like have it all figured out. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, you have help, like God is with you, God is on your side, and you have help in figuring these things out. So, like I said, it might seem, like a lot, but
Daunting. Yeah.
it's really a beautiful journey. You know what I mean? And um, I think it's actually exciting to take that step because you're already on the journey, right? It's exciting to take this new step if you
Mhm.
haven't done it yet, right? This new step in your journey to help you push forward in a more positive way because it will only help you. And that's a fact. It will only increase just the overall well-being of you as an individual. So being aware, and I feel like the way that the world is just constructed, right? For whatever reason, for so many reasons, I should say, it's like busy, 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 go, 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 thinking about this, the next, the next, the next, the next, the next. Don't do that, because when you really want to elevate and get to the next level, it takes a new level of self awareness.
Mhm.
And um, I just think it's just one of those things like you can't hop over it. You got to go through, there's no way to the other side other than getting in the boat and paddling your way over there. And it's fun. It actually is fun. It comes with some things, right? We all got mess. We all got things that we've been through, all of that, but you're going to come out stronger. And yeah, so just dive into it and
Mhm.
know that you are not alone and you'll be led through it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. So
that's
let's
what
talk
I'm saying.
about how, like, so once you go through a process of, uncovering and self-awareness and uncovering who you are, right, at the very deep, deep, deep core, you know, what are some practices that you can do to really keep engaging in that work, um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that it can be, a recurring thing, right? I know, uh, like with my therapist, she would always say journal. I'm like, girl, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not journaling nothing. And I should, because I'm actually, I'm a creative and I like to write, and I should be journaling probably, and
Mm.
maybe I will. I've tried it, but I just can never stick with it. Maybe I just don't. I need self discipline, y'all.
Maybe it's one of those like task thingies, like where you
Yeah,
feel
it
like it's
just
a
feels
task.
like a task.
Mhm.
However, what I do is I'll write things down, as like ideas on notes or in books. Like, I'm not gonna necessarily journal like, oh, I feel, or, today what came up for me was blah blah blah. Right.
Mhm.
I'll write like little short things. So that's how my brain works anyway too. So I'll just write, something very short that came up. And I'll just kind of think about it throughout the day. Like in my book, it'll just have like lines, sentences, or maybe words. And I'll just have to remember that, like, if I feel like self-conscious or something, right? Like I'll say like, oh, today I feel so self-conscious about blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And that's how I, engage in that work, like, because then that I can go back to that. Um, So, you know,
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think journaling is really powerful, or just writing down what is significant for you. I feel like whatever we're doing in our work, in this whole entire spiritual journey, life journey period, right? Like, in order for us to stick with it, it has to be like significant for us. And so you have to find what works for you. So
mhm.
you writing down those snippets is a part that is journaling, but just in
Yes,
your own
bite
personal
size.
way. Yeah, like your
Mhm.
own personal way. Like, some people like to use just like little note, what are those things? Sticky notes,
Sticky
right?
notes.
And
Yeah,
just
exactly.
sticking them all over the place, or just sticking them in a book, like because they want to jot down, the specific thought. So I think that's amazing. And that's one thing that, everyone could try. I I have like a little prayer journal of like things that I write down during prayer. I haven't really written down in that in a while, but I do think that's really great to have, because at any given point of time I
Mhm.
can always refer back to that prayer journal, right? And just kind of like reflect on where I was in those moments, and
Mhm.
see, where I am now. Now what I do is, again, I meditate.
Mhm.
I am a meditating girl because I get so much out of meditation. Like, my meditation is like
Hold on.
three.
Actually, sorry to cut you
Mhm.
off.
Okay.
Speaking of that,
Hmm.
I want you to maybe just kind of go through what that looks like for a busy mom of two beautiful little angels. Like, how do you find the time, honestly? Because, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to ask for it sometimes. Like, when my husband is at home, or my mom is here in the morning. Um, And I'll just say, like, I just need 15 minutes to meditate. But at night, it's great because the girls go to sleep and they are resting peacefully. And then I will take my time. Then I'll use my little, the little goggle things that you got me. I don't know what it's called. It's like, they're like this little iPads that have like massagers and heat, like a heat pad in it.
Yeah.
And I will use that. I'll put it on to just block out any extra light. And then the
Awesome.
heat is just so soothing, girl. I love it at the end of the day, literally. So yeah, I'll just put that on, and then from there I'll go to my level. And with the Jose Silva method, they do like a 3-2-1 method. I do a 5-1, which is basically like a countdown, and it's a mind thing. So it's like I'm saying it in my mind, basically, this countdown. And then from there, after I do my countdown, I go to my state. And the state is just a deeper level of consciousness, a meditative state. And then from there, I can just have a conversation with God. I can visualize something that, it is that I'm working on. Um, Create a place that I don't know if it exists. But I just have this playground basically in my head. And it is really, really wonderful. And that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. So after meditation, that's when it really be popping, because that's when I start journaling, because I have different, just different ideas, different inspirations and things. And I will jot those things down. It could be, something that I'm just writing down. It could be a song. It could be a place, like so many different things. So meditation kind of leads me down a path of where I'm going next, honestly.
I love that.
Um, and so that's kind of that's my sauce for me personally is. And when I'm in my meditation, like, I'm praying there, like I said, like I'm having conversations with God, with my ancestors, all my people, like I'm full out, having a grand old time. And in there I'm able to like just have different inspirations and downloads and things like that. And then from there I kind of have more clarity on like where I'm moving next. And then sometimes it's just I just want to relax and, you know, picture myself somewhere very relaxing and just chill out. And so that's a different form, but still going to my meditative state the same, but kind
Mhm.
of like what I'm doing there is different. So it depends. But for me personally, I use meditation, and then from there I kind of let
How,
that guide me. Mhm.
like, what advice would you have for someone whose time is not as free, or maybe doesn't have support, right? Whether they be a busy mom or maybe an entrepreneur, like, someone who just doesn't have the time, what advice would you give for someone?
Honestly, it would just be, first of all, you're doing a good job, okay? Managing everything that you have to manage in whatever facet that is for you personally. But I would say make the time by any means necessary, honestly, because the thing about taking time for yourself and working on yourself, meditating, praying, journaling, whatever it is, you don't need a whole lot of time, maybe like even 5 minutes, right? But 15 minutes, 30 minutes is good. But in doing this and working on yourself on any spectrum, right? Whether it's meditating, whether it's, going to therapy, whatever it is, doing that will only help you in every area of your life, right? So, in you taking time for yourself, you're going to be a better mom. You're going to be a better wife. You're going to be a better um, employee or business owner or whatever it is. So, I would just say, really find you can just ask God, ask spirit, ask yourself, how can I make this work? I want literally say this to yourself. I want to make time to meditate for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, or it can be more. You can, adjust this however. I want to take more time to do this. How can I make this happen? Or how can I do this? What do I need to do? And I promise you, I mean, it will come to you. And when the answer comes to you, you have to do it, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whether it's reaching out to someone, whether it's, organizing things in a specific way, right? But I would just start with like asking yourself that question um and then seeing, what goes from there. But just know that it's not a selfish thing. It's not I just need my me time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in that me time,
It
in
is a
that,
selfish thing, right? Like you're nurturing yourself. That's, I don't know why we have a
yeah,
negative connotation with it. Like, I need
yeah,
this moment for myself in order to be better.
exactly.
We all
It
need
will
that.
only, it literally will only make you better. So I would just honestly say that we just have to make the time. Um, and you'll be better, because of it. And everyone, when you heal yourself, or when you are working on yourself and helping yourself, you only end up helping everyone around you,
Mhm.
literally. And I've seen this like domino effect in my own life. I was actually watching this that movie Eat Pray Love, or Eat Love
Mhm.
Pray.
Mhm.
Yes, she was talking about how when you set out on a journey to help yourself, you end up, it was a word, tuti. Basically, tuti means everyone. I don't know what language it is. I forgot, but she was somewhere in Bali, so the language over
Mhm.
there. And tuti basically meant everybody, right? So the whole thing of what she was saying was that when you set out to help yourself, you end up helping everyone. And that literally made me cry, because on this journey you kind of reflect on all the different things that you've done,
Mhm.
and the work that is required. And if you have never been experienced, or if you've never been exposed to certain things, then it is kind of like you're kind of going up against all of your past beliefs or all of your past habits, you know what I mean? And that is work. But when you really reflect on the work that you do to better yourself, and then you kind of look around you and kind of see the manifestations of the things that you have done, the work that you have done,
Mhm.
it is a beautiful thing to see that it has helped not just yourself, but it has helped everyone around you. So
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
And I would say, if for anyone who is very, very busy, I think just take a day, just non judgmentally, to observe how your day goes, because you might
Mm,
not be as busy as you think you are. Like, I mean, I'm sure you know, there are busy moments, but while you're in the shower, while
mm,
you're commuting on your way to work or wherever, the few minutes what you have before you wind down for the evening,
mhm,
while you're watching that time that you have that you're watching TV or that you're scrolling on your phone, right? Like
mhm,
we have time. Um, I mean, even Beyonce got time for her kids now, right? Like we got the same hour, 24 hours as
mhm,
Beyonce. She gets a lot done. But you know what I mean? So I think just take time. just one day and see like where that idle time is going, and then
That's
now
really
feel
good.
like I can implement this, I can exchange this idle time for now doing work that is nurturing to myself. So that's why, I said at the beginning, I love I love my little meditation in the shower, and doing that work in the shower, because I I don't want to feel like I'm too busy most days, and I know I take a shower every day. Okay, that's if I ain't gonna do nothing in this life, I'm gonna take a shower, and
Hmm.
I can do that self work there. So
That's really good. I love that. Yeah, just being aware and then making mental notes of like where you can actually plug these things in. That's really, really powerful. I think that's a game changer too. So
mhm.
I love that. So how do you feel like in summing it up, like what do you think is one of the most powerful things that or pivotal things that someone needs to do in order to truly, truly unlock the God within and just really take the next step on their spiritual journeys?
Ooh, I think actually, honestly, everything that we talked about, right? Being that
Mhm.
self-aware, that all of that. But I think it starts with curiosity. Like, there's
Mhm.
power in curiosity, because there's no judgment in curiosity, in that when you're in that space and you're just exploring, and you're opening up yourself to learning. So that is a very powerful place to be, because that will open you up to what I believe you really need.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I would say
Good.
starting with curiosity, curiosity within yourself, curiosity um, with life, the concept of life, just
Yeah.
how exchanging with the community, like just going down that. But of course, for sure, curiosity within yourself too, and what the concept of God is. So,
Yes, and the community part is really important too, which is why you should join Godness Community. And you
hello.
can do that by going to godnesscommunity.com/join and joining us there. We would love, love, love to have you and just continue on this journey with you. And I
Mhm.
absolutely agree, Najee. And I think that, like we talked about so much, is just like that self-awareness. And I think that once you really just stop, you are really ahead of the game there because like I said, the world is just like go, 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 go.
Mm.
So once you really just stop and bring some awareness to where you are, what it is that you want, what your spirit is telling you to do, right? Maybe something you jotted down 20 years ago and maybe go open up that book, right? Just being really super, super aware and recognizing, and if you don't know this already, like you are so powerful and God exists within you, and that power is inside of you. And you have the opportunity and the power to really take control over your life and really be present in it. So, just recognizing how powerful you are and being more self aware so that you can embark on a new level in this journey or just a new part of your journey. So that's what I would say. But this was a
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful conversation. I
And we're just
have
getting
just,
started, my friend.
I, I know, and we are literally just getting started.
Hmm.
But I hope this has really, really inspired you to really tap in and go deeper into unlocking the God within yourself, wherever you are in your journey right now.
Or in the
We
world. Yes.
Mhm. Exactly. So, again, you can connect with us further by just going onto Instagram or on social platforms at Godness Community. Join our community now by going to godnesscommunity.com/join. You can also get our Unlock the God Within guide, which is at godnesscommunity.com. You can just shop on our store and get that there. But we so appreciate you just for hopping on and just staying with us throughout this conversation. And we'd love to hear what you like, where you are in your journey, how you feel is the most effective way to unlock the God within. What's your personal journey been like? Share with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Write in whichever way you want to communicate with us because we definitely want to hear from you. Did you have anything else you want to add, Michelle?
No, thank you all. We're grateful, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Until next time, friends.
All right. Blessings, friends. We just wish you so much love and joy on your journey to unlocking the God within. And until the next Godness podcast, we will see you next time. Okay. Bye. Okay.